Welcome, dear listeners, to creepy, weird stuff. Thank you for tuning in. This is Mr. Black. Beneath the shroud of swirling mists and moonlit shadows, we embark on a chilling journey to the heart of Bayou Terrebonne in Louisiana, where the thick fog whispers ancient secrets. Welcome to part 1 of this series, The Legend of the Rougarou. Narrated by none other than your dear friend, Justine. In this tale of haunting mysteries and unspoken fears, we meet Linda and her young son, Sammy, who's seeking a new start. They find themselves in a sleepy town, cradled by the embrace of the bayou. But peace is elusive, and as the veil of night draws close, a howl echoes across the water, a herald of the cursed creature known to roam these parts. Tonight, they will learn that some legends refuse to be forgotten, clawing their way into the light. Turn down the lights, draw near, and prepare yourself for a story where the line between man and monster blurs. Are you ready to uncover the truth behind the Rougarou? Stay with us, if you dare, as we unravel the shadows of the bayou in The Legend of the Rougarou.
In the heart of Louisiana, where the water's thick as gumbo and the air hums with secrets, Linda sought a new beginning with her 9-year-old son, Sammy, away from the shadows of her past. Bayou Terrebonne, with its whispering winds and watchful eyes, promised just that.
Like giant ghosts.
Keep your head inside the car before you lose it.
Okay, but look at the trees.
Yeah, baby, they kinda do. But remember, ain't no ghost here gonna bother us.
Can we listen to something else? I don't like this one.
How about we just turn it off?
Okay, but can we play that game?
Game? What game?
You know, the one with the colored guessing.
Okay, I spy something green.
That's too easy.
How about I spy something couillon?
What? That's not how it works. What's a couillon anyway?
It's something you should not be saying. We're almost there, so sit back, Sam.
Okay, Mama.
The car pulls up to a rickety cabin. The engine shuts off, and they step out into the rain-soaked air, filled with the sounds of distant wildlife and the rhythmic patter of raindrops.
It's raining.
Yes, Sam, run along inside.
Let's race.
Careful, Sam.
It's empty.
It's our home now.
I love it. There's a stairs, Mama. Can I go up?
Yes, but be careful.
I will, Mama.
As Linda and Sammy stood before their new home, shadows stretching long and thin in the fading light, there was a palpable sense of anticipation mixed with unease. For while the house promised a sanctuary from past sorrows, the bayou whispered secrets of its own, secrets that weren't so easily escaped.
Here we are, Sammy, our new home.
It looks old and scary.
It's just been waiting for us is all. A bit of love and it'll shine, you'll see.
I know.
I love you, Sammy.
I love you too, Mama.
Will you help me unpack the car?
Where did the rain go?
That's why you're helping me, young man.
Okay, no more tickling.
Well, you better not let me get you. Now go!
Okay, I'm going.
As Linda and Sammy tentatively approached their new abode, the sudden appearance of a mysterious neighbor, like a beacon from the past, which seemed to momentarily lift the heavy cloak of isolation. Her warm, weathered smile suggested stories etched deep within the lines of her face, stories only the Bayou knew.
Okay, bring it right here.
That one is heavy.
Don't hurt yourself now, you hear? Hello?
Hello there. Y'all must be the new folks.
As Linda and Sammy unloaded their belongings from the car, the front door, left slightly open. Standing in the doorway was an elderly woman, with her weathered features and kind eyes, wore a smile that was both welcoming and wise. Her hair, silvered with age, was pulled back loosely, and her clothes, though simple, were neat and practical for garden work. Her presence brought an immediate sense of warmth and familiarity.
Yes, ma'am. I'm Linda. And this here's Sammy.
Hello?
Hi there, young man. Well, welcome to Bayou Terrebonne, Linda and Sammy. I'm Susan. If y'all need anything, just holler my way.
Thank you, Susan. We appreciate that.
Okay now, I'll leave you two be.
She seems nice, Mama.
Yes, she does, baby. Maybe things will be all right here after all.
But as the shadows lengthened and the cicadas began their twilight song, the uneasy feeling that something was amiss began to creep into Linda's heart. This bayou, beautiful yet haunting, held secrets that perhaps should have remained hidden in the murky depths.
Finish your food there, Sammy.
But I'm full already.
Why don't you help me put these dishes away then? Make yourself useful.
But Mama, this place feels weird. Like someone's watching.
Now, Sammy, it's just us here. Ain't nothing to be scared of. Help me out and later we can go explore a bit.
Fine.
As the sun dipped below the horizon, its dying light cast a gilded glow across the murky waters of the bayou, transforming the swamp into a canvas of haunting beauty. Linda and Sammy, dwarfed by the sprawling wilderness, ventured forth with a mix of curiosity and caution. The beautiful sunset not only brought out the colors of the swamp, but also seemed to awaken the hidden whispers of the marsh, quietly sharing secrets as old as the waterlogged soil beneath their feet.
See, baby? It's peaceful out here, not a soul to bother us.
It's too quiet, Mama. Like the swamp is waiting for something.
It's just nature, baby. We're gonna be fine.
Okay, just stay with me.
Y'all settling in okay? I'm so sorry, Sammy. I didn't mean to scare you there.
Oh, Susan, you scared us a bit there.
Sorry about that. Just wanted to check on y'all. How's the house treating you?
It's gonna take some getting used to.
Well, give it time. This place grows on you. And don't mind the locals none. They's a superstitious bunch, but harmless.
What's a superstitious and why?
Oh, stories of the bayou. You know, ghost tales and swamp spirits. Old folk stuff. Ain't none to worry about there, Sammy. Just make sure you listen to your mama.
Okay.
Susan, do you know where we could get some supplies around here?
There's a little market down the road past the chapel. Can't miss it. But right now it's a bit late. They might be closed already. Do you need something?
Oh no, we're good right now.
Oh, okay. Just let me know if you do. You ain't bothering me none. Well, like I said, market's down the road past the chapel.
Thanks, Susan. We'll check it out tomorrow.
Good night, y'all. Be careful around the marsh now.
Good night, Susan.
Let's go home. There's skiddos everywhere.
I know, baby. They're big around these parts. Damn, they can swallow a whole gator. Come see.
I'm itching everywhere.
As night fell, the swamp came alive with the sounds of distant creatures. Linda lay awake, the unease growing as she listened to the unfamiliar sounds of the bayou. In her heart, the fear that they had moved into more than just an old house began to take root. Sammy is in bed, but his eyes are wide open, staring at the ceiling. Linda comes in to check on him.
You all right there, Sammy?
I hear things, Mama, like whispers.
It's just the house settling, Sammy. Try to sleep, okay? Close your eyes and count to 10.
Okay, Mama.
Good night, my love. I love you.
I love you too, Mama.
Linda kisses his forehead and leaves the room, but her expression troubled as she closes the door. As Linda returned to her room, the whispers that Sammy spoke of seemed not just figments of an overactive imagination. They murmured on the edge of hearing, a soft, insistent call that tugged at the very soul of Bayou Terrebonne. As the sun began to lift the mist off Bayou Terrebonne, Linda and Sammy ventured out, seeking not just supplies but acceptance in this tight-knit community. The market, a crossroads of old souls and whispered legends, held both the necessities of daily life and the keys to understanding the bayou's heart.
Good morning. How are you?
Seek Butong Souk. Comment ça va, Shaw?
Linda browses while Sammy stays tightly by her side. The shopkeeper, an elderly man with a stern gaze, keeps a close watch on them. Nearby, 3 bystanders linger, apparently with nothing to do. One of them asks,
Y'all ain't from around here, are you?
No, sir. Just moved in down by the old Broussard place.
Another man, just standing by the counter, holding an almost half-full bottle of tobacco spit, joined in the conversation.
But that house been empty for a while. Takes a certain kind to leave out there in the swamp. Them folks call me Lem. Who you be?
I'm Linda, and this here is Sammy. We're hoping it'll be a good fresh start for us.
Eh ben, if you ask me, I don't know about good, but it's a start,
Added another patron, a tall, skinny man dressed in a white t-shirt riddled with holes and a pair of sandals.
Just watch them waters, ma'am. Ain't always just fish that swim in the bayou,
Says the man in a brown t-shirt and military pants. Linda then exchanges a puzzled look with Sammy, who shrinks back a bit more.
Can we hurry, Mama?
Yes, Sam. Let me just get some stuff and we'll be off.
Can I have one of this?
Fine, but I need you to be extra good today. I will need you to help clean the house. Deal?
Deal.
Okay, go on ahead then.
Linda and Sammy exit the market, their arms filled with bags. The air is heavier now, the earlier fog replaced by a stifling humidity. With every step they took, the weight of the bayou's gaze grew heavier, its whispers louder. For in Bayou Terrebonne, every shadow holds a story, and every story a warning. Linda unpacks groceries, her mind distant. Sammy plays outside, visible through the window, his laughter, a brief respite from the looming silence. Back at the house that promised a new beginning, Linda fought to keep the creeping dread at bay. The bayou watched, timeless and patient, its secrets cloaked beneath a veneer of normalcy. Sammy stops playing and looks towards the woods, his expression shifting from joy to fear. He sees something move, a shadow, quick and fluid, calling out nervously.
Mama, there's something in the woods.
I'm coming. What is it, Sam?
Sammy held on tight to his mom's arms. Then he whispered,
I saw it move, like a big dog, but bigger.
Oh, probably just a deer, Sammy. Come on, let's go inside.
But I saw something, Mama.
Come see, let's go inside.
But the shadows that danced at the edge of Linda's vision weren't mere figments of a child's imagination. They were the guardians of the bayou, watchers of the ancient lore that this land held. Lore that Linda and Sammy had unwittingly become a part of. The evening settles in with a chorus of crickets and the occasional splash from the nearby swamp. Linda sits on an old sofa, flipping through a local history book she picked up at the market. Sammy is asleep on a makeshift bed on the floor. As the night wrapped its cloak around the cabin, Linda's eyes were drawn to tales of the bayou, legends woven into the fabric of Terrebonne. Each story was a thread in the dense tapestry of a community bound by water and whispered pacts with the unseen. Linda, muttering to herself while flipping through the pages.
So much history. So many stories buried in these waters.
Suddenly, a loud knock at the door startles her. It's late, too late for visitors.
Who's there?
Neighbor, just checking in. Saw your light on.
Just a minute.
Linda cautiously opens the door to reveal Susan, holding a lantern. Her face is serious, more somber than before.
Linda, you all right?
I'm all right, Susan. Is something the matter?
Oh, nothing's the matter. I just noticed you through the window. You've been up reading?
Oh, yes, just some book.
Susan noticed the book through the crack of the door sitting atop an unpack box. It's a bit of a distance from where she's standing, yet she recognized it.
This bayou? Well, it can get to folks, especially at night.
Oh, well. I was just reading some of the local history. Feels like this place has eyes in the shadows.
She said it jokingly. But deep inside her, Linda is a bit concerned as she doesn't understand these things she's been noticing as well as Sam.
It does, and more. You best be careful what you let catch your gaze. Some things here don't like to be seen.
Susan responded with a serious look in her eyes. Linda was curiously worried. She asks,
What do you mean, Susan?
Susan took a deep breath, and then she loudly exhaled. She then looked around her subtly with just her eyes, trying to look unworried. Then she gently reached for Linda's hand that was resting on the doorframe. She said,
Just old tales, maybe. But old tales are sometimes born from truths.
Then she added,
Long ago, they say spirits settled deep in the marsh guarding it. Folks here learned to live alongside them, not to challenge them.
Is that why everyone's so distant?
Well, it's part of it. The other part is just the way of the bayou. Keeps to itself, keeps its secrets. You'd do well to do the same.
Susan's expression was sincere, her eyes piercing directly through Linda's as if telling her to take heed. Her words came out like a warning, stern and steadfast. Then she leaned closer, lowering her voice.
Please be mindful of what your boy sees in them woods. Children see more, being closer to the earth and all.
I'll keep that in mind, thank you, Susan.
Susan nods, her lantern casting long shadows as she walks away. Linda slowly closes the door as her mind racing with more questions than answers. As Linda lay beside the sleeping Sammy, the soft murmur of the bayou's nocturnal life seemed to carry a caution. In the depths of Bayou Terrebonne, the line between fable and reality blurred, weaving a story that Linda and Sammy were now part of. A story that clung to them like the damp night air. Later that night, Sammy stirs in his sleep, mumbling incoherently. His eyes flutter open, wide with fear, as he stares at the slightly ajar closet door, whispering, terrified.
Mama. Mama.
What is it, Sam?
I can't sleep.
Close your eyes, okay? Then count to 10.
I did, Mama. It's not working.
Can you sing me to sleep, Mama? Please.
Come see.
Then, in the hush of night, the truths that daytime hid in shadows began to stir, reaching out from the crevices of forgotten tales, eager to remind the living that they were not alone. As dawn broke over Bayou Terrebonne, fog hangs low over the ground as the first light of dawn pierces through. Linda, unable to sleep after the night's unsettling revelations, stands outside, coffee in hand, watching the mist swirl mysteriously around the yard. The mist seemed to whisper secrets to those awake to hear. While caught between the realms of sleep and wakefulness, Linda felt the gaze of the bayou penetrating deeper, urging her to look closer, listen harder. Linda steps back inside, placing her coffee down. She notices Sammy sitting at the table, unusually quiet, his eyes distant.
Sammy, you all right? You look like you didn't sleep much.
I heard noises, Mama, from the closet.
What noises?
Like whispering.
Linda pulled out a chair. She sat next beside Sam.
It's just the old house settling, baby. But we can check it together later, okay?
He silently nods his head. Then Linda puts both her hands on Sammy's cheeks, gently kisses the top of his head, and whispers,
Mama loves you so much.
Immediately, Sam's face brightened up. Then he smiled and say,
I love you more.
Oh, you did?
Yes.
Well, okay, you beat Mama.
Mama, can we go see Miss Susan today? Maybe she knows about the whispering.
Sure, baby. We can ask her after breakfast.
Can we have beignet?
What, for breakfast?
Yeah.
Sure, why not?
And bacon.
Oh, now you're pushing it, young man.
Please.
Oh, okay. You promise to be good today?
I'm always good.
Yes, you are. That's why Mama loves you so much.
Linda and Sammy approach Susan's house, immediately embraced by the lively bustle of her garden. Ducks and chickens roam freely among vibrant flowers and fragrant herbs, all flourishing under Susan's careful tending. Her quaint, weathered cottage nestles harmoniously among the lush greenery, its peeling paint and aged shutters adding to its charm. The cozy wooden structure, complete with a front porch adorned with hanging plants and rocking chairs, suggests many evenings spent enjoying the peaceful natural surroundings. Susan looks up, noticing them.
Morning, Linda. Sammy, what brings y'all this way so early?
Good morning, Miss Susan.
Good morning. How's your garden?
Well, they're coming along pretty well. Just collecting some tomatoes here for supper.
Miss Susan, we have questions.
Do you now? What's the question there, young man?
Mama?
Sammy here. Been hearing things at night.
Before Linda could finish her sentence, Susan interrupted her, her forefingers on her lips while her eyes looking around.
Hush, now. Let's talk inside, okay? Come, Sammy. Tell me all about it.
Okay.
Susan picks up her basket half full of tomatoes, along with what seems to be some kind of herbs and sages. She gently points them towards her closed door with her other hand, holding a dagger of some kind, signaling Sammy to help her get it. Sammy curiously asks,
What's that knife?
Oh, this right here. It's just what I had close by to trim my plants.
Go on, Sammy. Help Miss Susan with her door.
I'll get it.
Don't trample on Miss Susan's plants. No running.
Oh, he's okay. He's just a curious young man, aren't you, Sammy?
He is growing too fast, I tell ya. Soon he'll be eating a whole gator by himself.
Oh, we got plenty out there.
As Linda and Sammy crossed the threshold into Miss Susan's home, a sense of timelessness enveloped them. The interior, filled with relics of the past and the faint scent of sage, seemed to hold its breath, as if the walls themselves were listening. Here, amid the shadows and whispers of old, the secrets of the bayou might just reveal themselves, offering answers, or perhaps deepening the mystery that whispered through the marshlands outside.
Go on. Settle yourselves in. Don't mind the smoke. I'll just go put this down on top of the icebox for now. I'll take care of it later.
Sammy, surprisingly comfortable in Susan's home, jumps right onto an old but clean couch. He's curiously looking around, perhaps wondering about the curios and oddities that are on display. Susan returns from putting away her basket, and right away, she looks at Sammy with a serious expression on her face and says,
This land here talks, especially to the young and the new. Whispers are the bayou's way of speaking, but you need to be careful what you listen to.
Is it the spirits you told us about?
Susan intently walked towards Sam while looking at his eyes. She kneeled to his level and paused. She thinks for a second and says,
Might be, child. This land's got old souls wandering. They're mostly harmless, unless you cross into their paths uninvited.
Linda looking uneasy. She put her arms around Sammy while sitting next to him. She asks,
How do we make sure that we don't intrude or cross their paths?
Susan stood up. From where she was standing, she looked at the window, where one side of the curtain was pulled back. Her expression suggested she might have heard something from outside, but it was nothing but the sound of frogs and crickets. She then said,
Respect, Linda. Respect and knowledge. You need to learn the ways here. Learn what's been before you. I can teach you some, but some you gotta learn on your own.
As Susan spoke, the wind picked up, rustling through the leaves and carrying with it a chill that seemed to seep into Linda's bones. It was a reminder, as palpable as the earth beneath their feet, that their new home held layers, not all of them benign. The mother and son returned home. As the door closed behind them, shutting out the whispered cautions of the bayou, Linda and Sammy found themselves enveloped by the familiar yet increasingly mysterious confines of their new home. Inside, the air hung heavy with the echoes of their earlier conversation, and the walls seemed to listen, eager to absorb the tale of whispering shadows. The sanctity of home now carried the weight of unseen truths, as mother and son braced themselves to unravel the secrets of the whispers that breached the quietude of their sanctuary. Afternoon came. Linda sits on the porch steps with an old book Susan lent her, its pages yellowed with age, filled with handwritten notes and sketches of the bayou's flora and fauna. Sammy plays nearby, occasionally glancing towards her mother, making sure that she's in sight. Linda is flipping through the pages when suddenly, Sammy's voice breaks the quiet.
Mama, hurry!
Linda rushes toward the sound of Sammy's voice, her heart racing with concern. She finds Sammy pointing toward the distance, his face lit up with excitement rather than fear. Linda, breathing a sigh of relief.
What is it, Sammy? You scared me half to death.
Look, Mama, Miss Susan's here and she's got a huge basket.
Linda squints her eyes to see Susan from a distance, her presence a pleasant surprise, with a basket overflowing with garden goodies. Linda's heart was still pounding as she tried to catch her breath, but her worry turned into a warm smile.
Susan, what a pleasant surprise. What do you have there?
Hi there, Linda. Hello, young Sammy. I know we just saw each other this morning, but I thought I'd bring over some fresh pickings from my garden.
Oh, Sammy here could never get enough of Miss Susan. Ain't that right, Sam?
Oh, what a sweet young man.
Sammy, why don't you help Miss Susan with her basket?
Here, Miss Susan. Let me get that for you.
And a strong one, too. Did you just get taller, Sammy?
No, we just saw you this morning.
Linda, what have you been feeding this clever boy?
Sammy gives Susan a quick hug, then grabs the basket from her.
Well, how about you come stay with us for supper, Miss Susan? You can maybe teach me some of the secret recipes from the bayou.
Please stay. Miss Susan, please.
Oh, Shaw. I will be delighted. Both of you.
That sounds wonderful. Please come in. Let's make it a night to remember.
As Susan stepped through the doorway, her arrival with a basket full of garden delights lifted the veil of unease that had settled over Linda and Sammy. The kitchen filled with laughter and the scent of fresh herbs, allowing them to momentarily set aside the whispers and shadows of their new home. Here, in this simple act of cooking together, they found a slice of normalcy and joy, a reminder of the everyday pleasures that still existed around them. As they moved into the kitchen, the atmosphere lightened considerably. Susan began unpacking her basket, laying out ripe tomatoes, onions, bell peppers, celery, garlic, and various other fresh ingredients. Sammy watched with keen interest as the array of colors and textures spread across the kitchen counter. While alighting the space with her presence, Susan looked at Sammy and said,
Let's get to work then. How about we start with the roux? It's the heart of the dish, after all.
Oh, sounds like we're having Sammy's favorite tonight.
Wait, are you making gumbo?
I don't know. Are we, Miss Susan?
We be doing it Creole style. Is that okay, Sammy?
I like the one with crabs.
That be the one.
Oh, yes, I love that one.
Well, I guess that'd be the one we having tonight.
Linda playfully elbowed Sammy on the shoulder, smiling at his bubbling excitement. He was so thrilled he could barely contain himself.
I'll get the flour and oil. Sammy, can you fetch the seafood from the icebox?
Yes, ma'am.
Sammy eagerly scurries to the refrigerator, happy to be involved. Linda and Susan begin the process of making the roux, stirring the mixture in a large pot. With each turn of the spoon, the roux darkened, mirroring the evening sky outside. The simple rhythm of cooking brought a comforting cadence to the house. Laughter and the clinking of utensils replaced the eerie silence that had briefly filled their new home. For a moment, the oddities and whispers of the bayou receded, giving way to the warmth of shared company and the promise of a hearty meal. Susan takes this opportunity to share more about her life in the bayou. While she stirs, she says,
You know, cooking is like weaving a spell. Each ingredient, each stir, adds to the magic. That's how I fell in love with the bayou. There's a kind of magic here, too. Deep and ancient.
It's beautiful here, in a haunting way. I'm hoping we can find our place in it.
You will. Just like these ingredients finding their place in the gumbo, you'll blend into the bayou's life. It takes time and a bit of courage, but it happens.
What about you? How did you adjust?
Adjust what?
I noticed the way you speak. It's a bit different from the other locals.
As the gumbo simmers, the rich aroma fills the house. Sammy, peeking over the counter, interrupted their conversation.
What's next?
Now, the magic happens. We let it simmer. Gumbo's all about patience, young man.
As the gumbo cooks, they clean up the kitchen, their movements relaxed. Linda, as she wipes the counter, she asks,
Susan, how did you learn all these recipes?
From my mama, and she from hers. It's been passed down like a treasure. You know, when they came traveling through Louisiana, food was how they connected with new folks, sharing stories and dishes.
Where was your mama from, Miss Susan?
Well, Sammy, my mama was born to a family of Romani, what some folks might call gypsies. They were travelers, roaming all across Europe and eventually making their way to America.
That sounds like quite the adventurous life, isn't it, Sammy?
Just like me and Mama.
It sure was. They traveled in caravans, setting up camps on the outskirts of towns, sharing stories and music with whoever would listen. They were free spirits, connected deeply to the earth and its rhythms.
While smiling at the enthusiasm and curiosity on Sammy's face, Susan adds,
That's right, Sammy. My mama used to say that their blood carried the songs of the road and the whispers of the wind. When she met my daddy at Camp Polk, she was far from her family's traditional roots, but she fell in love with the bayou's wild beauty. It reminded her of the freedom she grew up with, only the water replaced the roads.
How did she adjust to staying in one place?
Well, at first it was hard for her, being used to always moving. But she came to love it here. She said the bayou was like a moving road. It never stays the same, always changing with the seasons. She taught me to see the magic in staying still, in listening to the stories that the water tells.
Miss Susan, do you think I could hear those stories too?
Absolutely, Sammy. You just have to listen closely. The bayou speaks to those who want to hear it.
I'm so glad you're sharing them with us. It makes me feel more at home somehow.
That's the bayou for you. It takes you in, fills you up with its spirit. You're a part of it now, Linda. And Sammy here, too.
What about your daddy, Miss Susan? What was he like?
Sammy asks, jumping with excitement and curiosity. Susan pauses, then a soft smile plays on her lips.
Well, Sammy, my daddy was a soldier, stationed right there at Camp Polk. He was a strong and quiet man, loved the discipline of military life, but he had a gentle heart.
My daddy was a soldier too. Ain't that right, Mama?
Yes, baby. Your daddy was a soldier too.
Linda responded to Sammy with a smile tinged with sadness, her eyes revealing a depth of pain she wasn't ready to share. Susan noticed the unspoken sorrow but chose not to delve deeper, respecting her privacy. After a brief pause, Linda turned back to Susan, steering the conversation in her direction, and said,
Your folks must have learned a lot from each other.
Oh, they sure did. They taught me that life is about balance, the adventure with the stability, the familiar with the new. And here in the bayou I've found my balance blending their legacies.
So you're a bit like the bayou, Miss Susan. Always changing but still the same deep down.
That's right, Sammy. Just like the bayou, I keep flowing, keeping the best of both worlds.
Linda laughs, her worries momentarily lifted by Sammy's enthusiasm and Susan's stories. As night fell over Bayou Terrebonne, the little house on the edge of the swamp glowed warmly against the darkening sky. Inside, a simple meal had woven a tapestry of connection and belonging, reminding all present that home isn't just a place, but a feeling, one of being understood and accepted.
Susan, thank you so much for coming over. This evening was just what Sammy and I needed.
I'm happy to be here, Linda. Y'all are more than welcome anytime. Remember, my door's always open.
Sammy ran over to give Susan a hug.
Thanks, Miss Susan. Will you come back soon? Maybe tell us more bayou stories.
Oh, Sammy, I'll bring over some more recipes and tales next time. Maybe we can even go exploring a bit around the bayou. And Linda, remember this bayou's got its quirks, but it's got its charm too. You and Sammy are gonna fit right in. Take care now, you hear?
Thank you, Susan. Thank you for a nice meal. You be careful too.
Susan begins her walk down the path. As her silhouette merged with the night, Linda felt a comforting sense of peace settle around her shoulders like a well-worn shawl. The bayou, once a place of uncertainty, was beginning to feel like home, woven through with threads of new friendships and shared stories. The kitchen fell silent after dinner, though the rich aroma of gumbo lingered. Linda and Sammy, still cheerful from the day's events, sat together at the table, a candle flickering softly between them and casting soothing shadows around the room. As its last light flickered in the stillness of the kitchen, the night embraced the bayou outside. The swamp, alive and pulsing under the moon's pale gaze, began to speak in its own ancient language. Whispers of wind through the reeds, the distant call of an owl, the subtle ripple of water as creatures unseen moved beneath its surface. In Bayou Terrebonne, nature isn't just a backdrop, but a living entity, ancient and wise. Each rustle, each splash, tells a story of survival and secrets, of lives intertwined with the ebb and flow of the waters. This bayou watches, listens, and sometimes it guides those who dare to listen back. The bayou's breath, a soft murmur through the trees, carries with it the memories of the land, memories of storms weathered, of blossoms and decay, of the dance between life and death that paints the true picture of this watery world. And as Linda stands on the threshold of her new home, the bayou whispers to her, a call woven into the night wind. Will she hear its stories, understand its lessons? Only time will tell as she learns to see not just with her eyes, but with her heart. On a weekend morning, Linda and Sammy ventured deeper into the bayou, embracing a ritual that had become their bridge to this new world. As they meandered down a lesser-known path, vibrant with the wild chorus of nature, Sammy's keen eyes caught sight of something unusual, drawing them towards a hidden marvel yet to be discovered.
Look, Mama, what's that over there?
Linda follows his pointing finger to a clearing where the sun breaks through the canopy, illuminating a small, serene pond surrounded by weeping willows. She smiles.
Let's go see, Sammy.
They make their way to the pond. As they approach, the sound of the world seems to hush around them, enveloped by a peaceful silence that resonates with a deep, almost magical quality. As they stepped into the clearing, it was as if they had walked into another world. The pond, a mirror to the sky above, held the tranquility of the ages, and the weeping willows swayed gently as if welcoming them to this hidden sanctum of the bayou.
It's beautiful.
It feels like a fairy tale place, doesn't it, Mama?
It does, Sammy. It feels like we're the first people to ever find it. We should keep this place our secret, what do you think?
Yes, Mama, our secret hideout.
Energized by the discovery of their secret hideout, Linda and Sammy continued their exploration, their spirits high with adventure. The path wound deeper into the bayou's heart, where the dense canopy dimmed the sunlight to a soft glow. The beauty of their secret spot still lingered in their minds as they walked further. Suddenly, Sammy stopped short, his curiosity shifting to concern. Sammy, pointing with a tremble in his voice.
Mama?
In front of them, just off the path, lay the remains of an animal. Its condition was gruesome, clearly the work of something large and powerful. Linda covers her mouth in shock.
Oh, Sammy, don't look.
Linda quickly steps in front of Sammy, shielding him from the sight, but her eyes are drawn to the unmistakable signs of a violent struggle. The serenity of the morning was shattered. Here, in the shadow of ancient trees, the reality of the wild, and perhaps something unnaturally fierce, was laid bare before them. The bayou, for all its mystical beauty, held undeniable perils.
Let's go back, Sammy. It's not safe here.
What do you think did this, Mama?
I don't know, but we need to be careful here now. Let's hurry back. Come see Sammy.
As Linda and Sammy cautiously began their retreat from the grim scene, the bayou seemed to tighten around them, with the trees whispering warnings as every leaf brushed against another. Suddenly, a disheveled man stood before them, his clothes torn and smeared with mud and blood. His wild and urgent eyes fixed on Linda and Sammy with an intensity that made them stop in their tracks.
You shouldn't be here. None of you should.
His voice, hoarse, frantic even. Linda, taking a cautious step back, her voice trembling. She asks,
Are you all right? Do you need help?
He is shaking his head, eyes darting around. He screams at them.
No help. It is too late. You need to leave now, before it comes back.
Mama, let's go, please.
Sammy whispers, while clinging to his mom's side. Still concerned but increasingly frightened, Linda asks,
What's coming back? What are you talking about?
Suddenly, the man let out an exasperated growl.
Go! Get out of these woods!
Without another word, the man staggered off into the trees, disappearing as quickly as he had appeared. Linda, taking Sammy's hand, quickened their pace, the echo of the man's warnings fueling their urgency to escape the oppressive clutch of the bayou. As they made their way back to the safety of their home, the mysterious man's cryptic warning lingered in the air like a bad omen. Now, the memory of their secret hideout was overshadowed by the realization of the bayou's dual nature.
Mama, what was that we just saw?
Sammy? Let Mama catch her breath. Okay. I don't know what it was. I don't know.
Here, Mama, drink water.
Oh, baby. Thank you. Thank you, Sammy.
Are you okay, Mama?
Yes, baby. Yes, I'm okay now. I think I'm okay now. Are you okay, Sammy?
No, Mama. I'm scared.
I know, baby. I know. I'm sorry. Me too. I'm scared too. Let's go. Let's go upstairs. Let Mama clean you up, okay?
Okay.
Sammy led his mother upstairs, who was still trying to catch her breath, their hands both trembling. In the bathroom, Linda turned on the faucet, letting the water run as she prepared to wash away the mud. While Linda was helping Sammy with his shoes, he suddenly let out a sharp wince.
Ouch, Mama!
Oh, I'm so sorry. Did you hurt yourself, Sammy?
I don't know, Mama. My shoe hurts.
Okay, let me see it, Sammy.
Linda carefully peeled off Sammy's shoes. He quietly winced with his eyes closed. Upon closer inspection, it became clear that a sharp object had pierced through the sole of his shoe during their hurried escape through the bayou.
There. That's better. Let's get you cleaned up.
Linda says softly, with a reassuring smile. She then gives Sammy a long kiss on top of his head. Sammy looks up at her.
Is everything okay now, Mama?
Yes, baby. Everything's going to be okay. We're safe here.
As the last remnants of mud washed down the drain, so too did Linda hope to cleanse the eerie pall cast by their encounter. Yet, the echoes of the man's warnings lingered, a chilling refrain that neither water nor reassurances could truly erase. The day unfolded quietly within the confines of their home, as Linda and Sammy sought refuge in routine and the comfort of familiar spaces. The morning's unsettling encounter lingered like a shadow at the edge of their thoughts. But they tried to push it away, filling the hours with simple activities. Together, they cooked, read stories, and played board games, anything to avoid speaking of the fear that the morning had brought. As daylight waned, their home became a sanctuary, holding the outside world and its darker mysteries at bay, if only for a few more hours. Linda walks over to Sammy, who is intently focused on his drawings on the floor. She gently tousles his hair and asks,
How's my little man doing?
Mama, look at this.
Sammy sits up from the floor, a look of determination etched on his young face. He holds out a drawing to his mom, the lines depicting the mysterious man they had encountered that unsettling morning. Linda, upon seeing the drawing, hesitates, her eyes tracing the contours of an unsettling memory brought to life on paper.
That's very detailed, Sammy.
Thanks, Mama.
Seeing the drawing rekindles her reluctance to delve into conversations about their frightening encounter. She quickly shifts the focus to more mundane matters.
It's getting late, Sammy. Remember, you need to get to bed soon. We have to pick up some supplies tomorrow for your first day of school on Monday.
Oh, yes. I almost forgot. I can't wait to go to school, Mama.
Well, you better pick this up, so we can go in the morning for your school supplies. Maybe get you some new clothes, too. What do you say?
Yes, Mama.
Linda took one more glance at the drawing, feeling a shiver run down her spine. She then carefully folded the paper and tucked it into the book she had borrowed from Susan. The morning broke clear and bright, a stark contrast to the undercurrent of dread that had settled over Linda and Sammy. Intent on preparing for Sammy's first day of school, they ventured out, only to find their path redirected by a sudden commotion in the town center.
Is this happening again? Who is it? Let's clear the area, please. Move along now!
As they approached, the scene before them unfolded into chaos. Authorities and locals were gathered in a tight cluster, their attention fixed on a horrifying spectacle. Trying to shield Sammy from the gruesome scene, Linda held his hand tightly, her eyes urging him to look away.
What is it, Mama?
Keep your eyes on me, Sammy. Don't look over there.
Despite her efforts, the macabre curiosity of the crowd was palpable. Parts of a body were gruesomely displayed, with some remnants even hanging from an electric post. The ferocity of the attack, seemingly from a large beast. Linda, striving to maintain composure.
We're just here for your school supplies, nothing else.
Mama, you're walking too fast.
I know, baby. I'm sorry. But let's hurry, okay?
Ow! Mama!
In a sudden moment of distraction, Sammy unintentionally pulled his hand free from Linda's tight grip. The unexpected movement caused Linda to stumble forward, her steps faltering as she reached out to steady herself against her son.
I'm sorry, Mama. Are you okay?
I'm okay, baby. I'm sorry, too. Let's just keep moving, okay?
As they moved away from the scene, the weight of the town's fears seemed to follow. The murmurs weren't specific, just a collective unease stirred by the sight of something massive and destructive. Linda's resolve to protect Sammy hardened, fueled by the palpable tension in the air as they navigated the whispers that spoke of dangers lurking within the bayou's deep shadows. Linda and Sammy step into the relative calm of the store, the air inside cool and still compared to the charged atmosphere outside. They make their way to the counter where the store clerk, noticing their somewhat anxious demeanor, attempts to engage in conversation.
Comment ça va? Y'all got caught up in all that commotion out there?
Linda, protective and cautious, especially with Sammy by her side, offers a brief nod. She's wary of discussing the gruesome scene in detail, especially in front of her son.
Yes, we saw it. Could you please tell us where the school uniforms are?
Yeah, of course. They all in there in the back to the left.
Linda gives a polite but distracted smile, gently guiding Sammy towards the indicated direction, eager to shift their focus away from the morning's unsettling events. As they walked toward the school supplies, Linda's mind was a mix of concern and relief. Concern over the lingering danger outside, and relief to focus on something as mundane as picking out a uniform.
Mama, will everything be okay?
Sammy asks, looking up at Linda and sensing her tension. Linda squeezes his hand and says reassuringly,
Yes, everything will be just fine. Let's pick out a nice uniform for you, okay?
Sammy nods, comforted by his mother's presence and the normalcy of shopping for school clothes, while Linda continues to wrestle with her fears, hidden just beneath the surface.
Let's see if this one fits you.
I think it looks big, Mama.
It should be good. You've been growing too fast, Sammy.
Okay, Mama, let's get it.
Let's get 2 pairs, just in case.
Sure, Mama. I also need these shoes.
Did you try it on?
Yes, it's a little big, but it should be good, right?
It should be good, baby. Are we ready?
I still need to get the school supplies, Mama.
Oh, yes, it should be across the street. Let's go ahead and pay these, okay?
They approached the store counter to pay for the school uniform. The clerk glanced at them with a discerning eye while he rang up the items. As Linda and Sammy were about to leave, he added a cautious note.
You'll best be careful now. You don't want to know what's out there.
As they crossed the street toward the school supplies store, Linda noticed Sammy limping slightly. She turned to him with concern, asking,
Sammy, are you okay?
Mama, my foot hurts.
Sammy responded, wincing a bit. Once they reached the other side of the street, Linda kneeled down and gently removed Sammy's shoe, where he indicated the pain. She saw that the wound from the previous day looked alarmingly infected. Looking into Sammy's worried eyes, she reassured him.
Let's go on ahead and get your school supplies from their store. Then we need to stop by and get some medicine for this, okay?
Okay.
After completing their errands, Linda and Sammy took an alternate route to their car, keen to avoid the unsettling scene they had encountered earlier. Upon returning home, Linda attended to Sammy's infected foot, carefully cleaning it before applying the medicine. As she did so, Sammy winced and complained about the pain.
Mama, it hurts.
I know it hurts, baby, but you're doing great.
Sammy's face scrunched up in discomfort, but Linda's gentle touch and soothing voice gradually calmed him.
How about we go and see Miss Susan later? I bet she'd love to see how brave you've been.
Sammy's expression brightened at the mention of Miss Susan, his earlier pain momentarily forgotten in the anticipation of visiting their kind neighbor. With the promise of seeing Miss Susan, Sammy's spirits lifted. Despite the day's earlier trials, the thought of a friendly face brought a glimmer of excitement and comfort.
Slow down now, Sammy.
Hello? Miss Susan.
Oh, hi there, Sammy. What a pleasant surprise.
Hello, Miss Susan.
Hello, Linda. And young Sammy. Well, don't just stand out there. Come on in, you two.
Thank you, Miss Susan.
Come on in. Get comfortable now.
Hi, Miss Susan.
Hello, young man. Sweet as always. Well, to what do I owe this pleasure?
Well, Miss Susan, we spent the Saturday Rôder around town just enjoying the sights and taking it in. But Sammy here stepped on something. I already put medicine, but it worries me. And he said it hurts bad.
We found a big tree, Miss Susan. It looks like a ghost.
I want to hear more about the big ghost tree, Sammy. But first, let me take a look at your foot there, young man.
Mama.
Let me help you.
Ow!
Hush, baby. I'll be slow.
Linda gently helped Sammy remove his shoe as Susan observed closely. Upon seeing Sammy's wound, Susan's expression turned to one of deep concern. There was a flicker of recognition in her eyes, though she seemed unsure and hoped her suspicions were wrong. With a worried look etched on her face, she asked,
What did he step on? And where did this happen?
I don't know. When me and Mama was running from that man, I think...
What man?
As Susan listened to Sammy, her suspicions deepened, evident in the tightening of her voice. Sensing Susan's growing concern, Linda recounted the unsettling events of the previous day. She described their disturbing discovery of a brutally torn animal carcass, seemingly the victim of a large predator, and the encounter with a disheveled man, his clothes smeared with mud and blood, who seemed desperate to flee the scene.
Describe to me what this big tree looked like.
There's a nice pond. It's like this secret spot hidden away from everything. Also, there's the big tree. It looks like a ghost. It's drooping down over the water.
Before Sammy could finish his vivid description of their secret haven by the pond, Susan's demeanor abruptly shifted. There was a sudden urgency in her movements as she swiftly gathered various ingredients from her collection of jars. She mixed them with practiced precision, her lips moving silently as if she were reciting or trying to recall a crucial formula. Then, breaking the tense silence, she spoke.
Here, drink this, child. This should at least slow it down. Let's hope it's not too late.
What do you mean, too late?
Do you have the object that pierced his foot?
Yes. It's in the car. I'll go get it.
Hurry, Linda.
Mama, what's happening? Miss Susan.
It's okay, sweet child. It'll be okay.
Miss Susan, I'm scared.
Hush now. It's okay.
Here, Miss Susan.
Let me see.
Miss Susan examined the object that had pierced Sammy's foot with intense scrutiny. She maintained a composed facade, likely to keep Linda and Sammy from worrying. With swift and deliberate movements, she began gathering and packing what appeared to be essential items. After a moment, she turned to Linda and Sammy with a sense of urgency in her eyes.
I must leave for a day or two to seek some answers.
She paused, ensuring her next words were clear and calm.
You're welcome to stay here as long as you need.
Without waiting for a response, Susan hurried out, leaving Linda and Sammy amidst a whirl of confusion and concern.
Mama?
What's happening? I'm scared.
Hush, baby. It's okay. I'm here.
Linda wrapped her arms around Sammy, pulling him close. She gently rocked him back and forth, a soothing rhythm to calm his nerves and reassure him that they were still safe, despite the uncertainty swirling around them. Both exhausted, they fell asleep on Susan's small, rickety couch. Though it was hardly comfortable, the closeness they shared brought a deep sense of comfort, allowing them to sleep soundly despite the couch's shortcomings. Moments passed in the dimly lit room when Linda awoke to find the night still wrapped in darkness. Next to her, Sammy was feverish, his body radiating intense heat, as if he might scorch the very fabric of the couch they shared. His brow was slick with sweat. Quickly, Linda sprang into action, filling the bathtub with cold water in a desperate attempt to cool him down. Adrenaline surged through her as she carried Sammy to the bathroom. Despite his size and her fatigue, she managed to get him into the tub, then sat wearily beside him, her eyes heavy with worry. As Sammy soaked, the cool water gradually easing his fever, Linda's exhaustion overcame her, and she drifted to sleep beside the tub. In the quiet of the room, a familiar, cheerful voice pierced her slumber. It was Sammy, sounding like his usual self again, calling out to her in the darkness.
Mama? Mama, wake up! Ma, where are we?
Linda quickly checked his forehead to gauge his fever. She found that his temperature had returned to normal, the cool bath having helped reduce his fever effectively. Or perhaps it was the effect of the herbal concoction Miss Susan had prepared for Sammy before she left. Either way, Linda was relieved and happy to see Sammy looking much better now.
Sammy!
In her relief, Linda was overcome with emotion, unable to hold back the tears streaming down her cheeks.
It's okay, Mama. Don't cry.
Sammy gently rubbed his mother's back, trying to console her. He then wrapped his arms tightly around her and said,
I love you, Mama. I'm here, okay?
With her son's soft voice echoing in the room, Linda felt an overwhelming happiness, grateful for his presence, which she had feared she might lose. A profound sense of peace settled over Linda. The fears and uncertainties that had shadowed their recent days seemed to dissolve, washed away by the simple yet powerful connection between mother and son. In the heart of the bayou, under the watchful eye of the rising sun, Linda and Sammy had found more than a home. They had rediscovered hope. Together, they would navigate the mysteries of the bayou, but always, they would return to this simple truth, that love, like the sun, returns each day to banish the shadows of the night.
And so, dear listeners, as Linda and Sammy navigate the murky waters of the bayou, what secrets will they uncover next? What lies hidden in the shadows, and what will emerge from the depths of the night? Keep your wits about you and join us next time on Creepy, Weird Stuff to find out. Stay tuned, stay curious, and most importantly, stay safe in the darkness that surrounds us. Until then, this is Mr. Black. Good night.